Because my guy Scott TySkyytheDJ, one of my fellow cohort 3 mates from the Meta Filmworks project by the Harlem Film House, was like, Mo, we gotta talk about NFTs and film because he knows I'm the Mocasso of NFTs. Y'all know it, okay? And I'm like, yes, let's do it, but let's tell everybody, okay? Tell everybody pull up because I'm only gonna do this one time, okay? And then if you need to talk to me after that, we're gonna have to talk about how you book a one-on-one, okay? Because y'all know once you start learning, you gotta value what you learn too. Because one thing that I always tell people as we're getting started is your education, the experience that you're putting in, we already know, especially in industries like the film industry, we see it changing before our eyes, and they're looking at it to be immersed in learning, be open to learning. And even if once you feel like you learned something, keep learning, keep doing your research, because I feel like that's kind of where things start to get wicked, understand that experience. But the tricky part is, how do NFTs now come into play with that? So before we even talk about how NFTs change film, I want to slow it down and see if you guys understand what NFTs are.
I would say, well, first of all, I want you to know that, Mo is a subject matter expert in NFTs and admitted learning and all that stuff. I'm gonna say I am a certified. I want you to know I am made of questions. So I got a lot of questions. But I would say that from my general understanding of NFTs is that basically the underlying technology is the blockchain, right? And the kind of foundational, thinking of that is that can't be changed. So if you have a transaction or if you have a record of ownership, once it's set in that block, it's there for verification of whatever transaction. That's And how far am I on? How far am I on?
That is absolutely right. That's a great way to put it, right? Because that's all it is. Right now, if you think about it.
Hello?
I don't know if you might be on mute, Mo. I'm not sure.
Oh, you guys can't hear me?
I know it kept going. The sound kept going in and out, and it was cutting off.
You guys can't hear me at all?
Uh-oh. There she is.
Uh-oh.
You can't hear me? Okay, let me try to reload 1 second. Second. Oh no. Reload.
A small thing like glitching now,
That's
guess
right.
what? Mo's right back in here. We're gonna be right back at it. So
okay.
Amen.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, bad. Okay, great. Yeah, I was worried because earlier Spatial was like, one of our servers is down, and last week when Ty and I tried to get together, my space would not load, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even about to text Ty until I know that it's not working. And I think it's just because I had been sitting in here for about an hour before, just like in the same position, making sure it was all good. So I probably just got timed out. But we are back, and I was saying, no, you are not far off at all. Because that's what it is. This technology is based on blockchain technology, and I'm glad that's where you even started, because that is one of these powerful tools that empower creators, right? Like you said, you get to now have this ownership, because if you think about it right now, the way that everybody has all this information is separate, right? I have it on my computer, you have it on your computer, maybe there's a corporation that has, centralized information, but all of the information is all over the place, right? And so the blockchain creates this transparency where you can actually go and track history, and we're about to get into how all of that matters. But before we really do, there's also another part about NFT that I like to break down down because I think it helps people understand taking away from the blockchain, because again, that's where things do start to get a little bit even more confusing. So slowing down what NFT even means. So it means a non-fungible token, right? And so if you never know what non-fungible means, so fungible means like something that can be exchanged for something different. So if it's non-fungible, it means that it can't. One of my favorite examples, and if y'all use this example, just shout out your girl Mocasso of NFTs who put you on pow pow, because this is the one that does it, okay? So fungible is like a $20 bill. You have a $20 bill. You can change it for four fives, and you'll still have $20. That's fungible, because you can have a $20 bill or 4 fives. You can have 21s. You can have 2 5s and 10 ones. It doesn't matter the kind of bills that you have or the change that you have. All of that still equals $20. So you can take your change, go into a cashier's office, and exchange your bills and get a $20 bill, and it's the same exact value. If it's non-fungible, it means it cannot be changed or exchanged for equal value. So something like that would be like if you had, for example, like a Picasso, right? If I had the real Picasso, like original real Picasso, and somebody had one that looked exactly the same but was a counterfeit, and we changed them, it would not be the same value. Right? Although they look the same, although they would, appear the same, it would not have the same value at all. Same as like a receipt or a ticket, A lot of people like to think about NFTs. I like to say it kind of like a receipt, because it's really going to be proof of purchase, right? After you understand like the exchange factor and how it can't be exchanged, now there's this level of authentication, like we said, because now you've got a ticket on the blockchain or a receipt on the blockchain to say, hey, I know that this is a real Picasso, because when Picasso made it, he minted it on the blockchain from his wallet that says Picasso on, June 13th, 2023. And I can see that he minted it for that. And then he can list it for a price.
1723.
Yeah, I'm just using today's example. But then, I can see that he minted it today, his original art. I can see that then he listed it for $1 million. Then maybe I could see, TySkyyy bought it for $2 million. Then Harlem Film House bought it for $3 million. And it's all right there in your face. Even if you go to OpenSea right now and you were to go buy an NFT, it would show you all of the transaction history before you buy it. And that's again how you can start to see why that matters for things like receipts. Think about how many people get counterfeit tickets and then be mad when they get to the box office and can't get into the concert, right? And why that matters and why I like to use concerts is because once you understand the exchange portion, once you understand how this receipt or ticket is on the blockchain for anybody to verify and see, then you get to start now backing it, right? Like, okay, this person has this receipt and it's in this digital form, but now what can I do with this? And that's where this beauty of utility comes in. And I feel like, NFT creators that have been really conscious of the purpose of NFTs for the beginning, yes, art is great. It's one of those things that our society loves and, helps us as humans be creative and create more. But again, there is also this level of seriousness, right? Like not just using it for the art, right? There's actual business and purposes for us to use these tools. I believe that everything one day will be an NFT. Your mortgage, your lease, like any transaction, any receipt would be on the blockchain. Because again, also once we talk about this technology that NFTs come with, it's not only that they can go on the blockchain, but it's also that they can be self-executing, right? So, and what I mean by that is when you create an NFT, the creator ends up having to choose which kind of smart contract they want to use. And what that simply means is a simple smart contract would say something like, just going with my example earlier, Picasso can say, hey, I'm going to sell my NFT for $1 million, but I get 10% royalties every time that's resold, period. that's on that NFT smart contract. So anytime that NFT is resold on that blockchain, those royalties is automatically sent to his wallet address without him having to track down nobody, without having to call nobody and ask where my money at, without having to wait and hear no excuses about why the money ain't there. As soon as that transaction is processed, those funds from that cryptocurrency goes directly to their wallet every single time. And that's what I mean by self-executing. And that's where you're going to see more and more contracts see that they want to do that, right? We see automation, we understand AI, we understand how a lot of this stuff is going to be automated, and it's going to be because of things like NFTs and blockchain. So when we think about how NFTs then change stuff like the film industry, you know, we can get into it a lot of different ways. But before we even start going that far with it, I want to pause, breathe, and ask if anybody has any questions or want me to expand on what NFTs are anymore.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
Do you want to go? Okay. So, you're talking about, different transactions, being on the blockchain, NFT. So, are you even talking about, okay, just say people who establish a trust, okay, and they're putting everything in the trust, their homes, cars, and so forth. So, would the trust itself be an NFT, or just each individual piece be an NFT in that sense?
Yes, that's a great question. Let me see. Yeah, that's a great question. And so how you can kind of look at it would be, again, and with NFTs, because they are still in this like limbo stage of like being created, you want to be careful with how that would look. But essentially, let me see what's a great way to put it. So the way I would say it would be like everything within the trust would be an NFT, and then you would have an entity that those NFTs would be under. Now, if an NFT itself could be a trust, that is a good question. That I'm not 100% certain of. But say if you had like you said, like land, right, and actual deeds and like documents and like assets, right? You can back your assets and mint those on the blockchain just the same as any registry, and then have all of those as and have all of those as NFTs. And I do see Crypto X is in here, who is actually my husband, and a big into that space, and he said he would love to add to that as well. So Crypto X, please feel free to unmute and drop your knowledge on that one.
So in terms of trust, there's different ways to go about it. There's such things as like, well, if you have a trust, there's different blockchains that operate with trust lines. So I don't know how familiar you are with different cryptocurrencies and projects, but there's a token that most people heard just sued by the SEC right now, but it's called XRP. And they have a cold wallet, which is decentralized, owned by nobody. And that's the future concept of a trust, where you put 20 XRPs to open up a trust line or open up a wallet. And then with that wallet, you get your 16 security phrase. And with that phrase, they like me and my wife, we're a union. So she has the phrase, I have the phrase, I have that line set up to where it's like, oh, it can disperse funds every day. It can disperse funds 6 times a month, however I decide to choose. And that's kind of how they're envisioning the blockchain and trust actually becoming like a cell phone to a house phone per se, where it's just going to be an automatic smart contract.
Yes, great point there.
And everybody that like has the password or the phrases or however you decide to secure your assets, they'll have access to the trust. But if you lose those phrases in most cases, then they'll be out of the trust.
Yeah. Great point. I heard somebody else said that they had a question. Okay.
Yeah. This is Ellis. Thank you so much, Mo. You are gifted. Thank you so much. I am still in the dark about it. And it seems, to my understanding, I create, let's say, a work of art. Then somehow I put it on the blockchain, or maybe it's created, or as you say, minted on the blockchain. And then I wait to see if somebody wants to buy it. And if someone does buy it, then they give me, or they put crypto money in my wallet. And then if somebody else buys it from that seller, then that's 10% in my wallet. But let's say I have $20 I want to experiment with. Where do and then I hear in the news, it lost. If it was worth 40,000, it's now worth 20,000. And Jimmy Kimmel one night said to his friends, if you can tell me how to get my money out, then I will invest. But he says none of my friends can tell me how to get money out of it. Then like 3 months later, he said he was talking in conversation and he said, yeah, well, I bought some crypto. So apparently he did get into it. I don't know if it's called buying crypto, but he is now into crypto. I don't understand. I'm trying my best. I go on to YouTube University, and then I just left it alone, especially after it, the market, it dropped. I don't know. I still want to learn though.
Yeah, I would say steer clear of those public figures who say they are or aren't. Most of the time, it's to persuade you to kind of do what they're saying, and then they do the opposite, right? Just like you said, he said he wasn't buying, but then he's buying. Because if everybody thinks that, everybody's selling, then it's cheaper. And real investors like to buy the cheapest, right? The bank isn't going to go buy top dollar. They want to buy when it's pennies of the dollar. So you'll often see, a push of negative so that the price drops. But then those real investors that believe in real projects would invest in those cryptocurrencies that they believe in. And again, it always comes down to utility.
Yeah.
So as you research in the cryptocurrency lane, I have a whole course on Udemy that I would suggest taking. Is very beginner friendly, and I'd like to simplify things, and I kind of go into the whole spiel of how to kind of do your own research and get started off to a great start. But I would say to get started, most importantly, when it comes to the NFTs, you have to figure out which blockchain makes the most sense for you and your creators, right? For me personally, I like Polygon because I like using Matic cryptocurrency. It's very cheap because when you use cryptocurrency, instead of having like fees, they call it gas because it's supposed to be like, using energy. So it's like how much gas you really use in order to complete that transaction. And for me and my collectors, I try to use Polygon because I want it to be minimal gas, minimal fees, so that they can just go and buy easily. For me personally, I also like using platforms like OpenSea because I feel like most people have heard of it. If you look into OpenSea or NFTs, that's usually, again, that go-to platform. So when I say, hey, I've got a NFT and hey, it's on OpenSea, those two things, again, people are mostly familiar with. But if I start saying like it's on Object or like a different platform, then I know that's where people start getting a little bit confused because now it's got, a whole nother cryptocurrency. And then also what I like about OpenSea is that people can still buy with their credit card or debit card, so that they buy the cryptocurrency with their credit card or debit card and purchase that NFT just as usual, like they would on any website. But then once they have it, now they have this NFT. And usually from there, now you can also show them, okay, you've got this wallet set up. Now you can actually go and, continue to keep adding cryptocurrency to that wallet or keep buying it and doing more from there. So usually it starts with picking a blockchain to start that NFT project. I know Kush Nubia was in here earlier. I actually, he's still here right now. Perfect. So I actually seen that he has dropped his recent project on Object, which is actually why I mentioned that, because I had looked into it just because I'd never used that platform before. And it was really cool because it uses the Tezos cryptocurrency, I want to say, but they also had the option to buy with a credit card or debit card right now, which I've seen a lot more platforms adding, so that it takes out a big learning curve for a lot of creators in the beginning, where as long as you figure out which blockchain you want to put it on, and then it's really easy from there, because these platforms have like centralized it in a way where really all you have to do is get your image or video or whatever asset you're minting onto the blockchain. You put your title, you can, add a bunch of different like traits. And I'm sorry, did you say I was breaking up again?
Went out again. You're out. I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Oh,
Now
y'all can hear me now?
Now, yes,
Okay.
because we
Yeah,
missed a
yeah.
whole chunk.
Oh no. I don't know where y'all even heard me stop at
It
then.
sounds like it might be a wire shortage.
Yeah, no, well, it's spatial sometimes. The audio goes goes fast, goes slow, and then go. But so where you kind of left off, or where we heard you last, was you were saying, okay, you can how you can go in, so it's basically how you can set it up, and then you started. Then it started going out, and then you talked about how you put a title on it. I kind of heard that
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
So you kind of went out a little bit.
Yeah, so I was just saying it's almost as easy as uploading a picture on Facebook, right? You get your art, whatever you want to upload to the blockchain, and then you put it on there. Like I said, I liked OpenSea. It was very user friendly to get started, especially they show you the different blockchains that you can try on. I watched a bunch of videos when I got started. I'm all about YouTube University as well, and I never just watch one video. I usually try to watch like all of them, not gonna lie, because I like to see. I feel like you learn so much, so many different things from different people.
Yes.
Their learning curves, things that work, and what you'll learn is different things work for different people, right? I'm sure everybody will tell you something different because different things work for different people. When you talk about, how do you get your money off of the blockchain, that is, one of those curves with Polygon, because if you do have it on the Polygon blockchain, then you got to bridge it over to Ethereum, and that's where again you start losing people. But it's like it all starts to come together. And the most important thing is just like my husband was saying earlier, that this is going to be the way that we bank and do business in the future. So again, it's just the earlier that we take the time to start learning and trugging through this now, the easier it's going to be in the future, because you're not going to have to learn it all at once, right? People are just going to be always catching up and feeling like they're learning everything all at once. So I just say, start somewhere and keep building from there. But yeah, actually minting the NFT is pretty straightforward once you figure out which blockchain you want to mint it on.
So Mo, I got a question.
Yes.
You mentioned that some of the platforms allow you to make purchases with regular credit cards, which is like I guess a lower entry point for some folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my curious question is there any advantage to buying something with a credit card on a crypto site versus using cryptocurrency to buy it on one of those sites? Like what's the difference? What's kind of the difference
for me,
besides just
for me personally, it doesn't come out my bank account, right? If I use my card, I see it come right out my bank account. Usually I have my crypto wallet set up where I'll just keep like a certain amount of crypto on that wallet for those different things. I just got a couple dollars on my MetaMask for if I see a wallet, or for gas, or if I want to buy an NFT, I'll put just enough cryptocurrency, maybe like an extra $100. So I've got a little bit more again for exploring the next one if I see something random. So for somebody that's just a bit more experienced, there's really no advantage other than just, having it on your wallet compared to that. But it all goes to your wallet after you buy it all the same. And then also, I guess, if you have your wallet and you're big into like people tracking your transaction history, that's also another one. I see a lot of people using different wallets because they don't want them to see that this wallet bought certain NFTs or did certain things. So that's also an advantage on like using a card and then being able to decide, from there where that NFT will go.
Okay, so another question that might help people with just an understanding coming from like traditional transactions to NFTs, right? So let's say, and I'm sure the answer is it depends on the platform, depends on or whatever. But in very, very, very general terms, if I have like $10 of actual money, how does that translate into cryptocurrency? Like say if I want to buy, I don't know, if I want to buy, I don't like Big Macs, but if I want to buy some sushi, I don't know, if I want to buy some sushi, it's a $10 thing of sushi. I can pull out $10 and give it to him to get some sushi. In terms of cryptocurrency, what would be the kind of equivalent? What I'd be thinking about?
It would be the same. It would be about the same, and it would just matter it would matter almost on the blockchain would matter on what state it is, right? Because I'm in Nevada where we don't have any taxes. So if you go to the Chinese restaurant and you get sushi and it's $10, that's all you paying, $10 flat, no tax. But if I go a few states over to California, they got 10% tax, so I'm end up paying $11 for that sushi. Or I can go to maybe Wisconsin or a random state that just does maybe a normal 6% tax, and then maybe only paying $10.50. It's the same way with that NFT. Depending on which blockchain it is going to depend on how much those fees are. But the money is going to be equivalent. You price it and how much cryptocurrency that it would be, but it still will show you that dollar amount. So right now, like I said, I like Matic. Say for example, maybe Matic is $1 for one Matic. So I would just price it at 10 Matic, and it will show you, hey, this costs 10 Matic. So you can either use your wallet that has 10 Matic in it, or you can put your card in and pay $10. And for me, since I would use the Polygon network, the gas would probably be 5 cents. So then it'd be you'd be paying $10.05. Now in comparison, if I was using the Ethereum network, which is one of the most popular, but they have very high gas, so you'd probably pay $13. Right, because of that $3 in gas. So again, that's why I was saying it comes down to the blockchain that the creator chooses. And so that's why for me personally, I always try to go with Matic, because I don't want people paying high amount of gas, because it can get expensive. Especially when a lot of people are on the blockchain, especially Ethereum, I've seen the gas cost more than what you're buying. Ridiculous, and that's kind of the part that I don't necessarily like about it sometimes. But it's supposed to be decentralized and peer-to-peer in a different way to go about it. So it has its pros and cons, and I always keep that straight up for sure.
So you call that thing, you call it Matic? Is that what you call it?
Matic is the cryptocurrency, and it's on the Polygon network or blockchain.
And that might be, again, a good kind of intro to folks who may not understand it as much like myself. So what are some of the most important terms when it comes to NFTs world that we should kind of know and be familiar with, that happens in everyday conversation when it comes to NFTs?
I would say utility or purpose, because again, NFT is just going to be it's a hot word right now because we say it, but it's really just going to be a ticket or receipt. So more so, if you're thinking about, you want to have an NFT project, think about why you want to have an NFT project, because again, you want to say, hey, if you buy this NFT, what is it going to come with? Because the other thing that NFTs really empower creators, not only can you now go out and create your own art, but now you can really build a community that likes collecting your art, so it doesn't matter if you weird one-eyed people art, because there's maybe 1% of people around the entire world that likes one-eyed people art, because now NFTs also takes you global, right? Because there's global collectors. You don't have to go to the flea market on Saturdays and just sell your art to your neighbors that you've been showing to. No, now you have the ability to showcase it to the entire world and say, hey, I have this piece of work, and if you like it, you can collect it. And then you'll start to see these communities growing around like-minded people or like-minded concepts and building from there. And so that also becomes a strength. So when it comes to that NFT project, you have to think about what kind of people are you trying to bring together around you. And then once you do bring them around you, how do you want to incentivize them for being around you? What kind of utility or benefits can you provide to them for being a part of this journey that's going to want to keep them coming? And that's why I always emphasize utility, right? So for me, when I started NFTs, it was something as simple. I did photography, I write poems, and I like making my own clothes. So I took one of my pictures, I took one of my poems, I put my poem on my picture, and I minted that as an NFT. And I said, you know what? This is also how I'm going to bring back my little fashion line. And anybody that buys my NFT that has my poem and my picture on it, which I thought also looked really cool from when people showed on social media, but then they would also get one of my tie-dye t-shirts, you know? So I was like, hey, you can like the photography in the poem and get a t-shirt, you know, as a bonus. Or you can like the t-shirt and want to get the t-shirt and have to buy it by getting the NFT, and then the NFT be a bonus. But I always was like conscious of, again, that purpose and adding utility and benefits more than just face value for that community to say, hey, and after this, we got more t-shirts. You know, we got everybody. It even turned into me creating a whole DAO, and just everybody can go physical to digital. I take my tie-dye t-shirts, but I had, you know, people taking their fur animals and creating fur bags with them, and, you know, creating resin and creating all kind of stuff, because anybody can take their physical and go digital and build a community around that. And so I would say to keep that in mind as you go forward, because you can really get creative with it, right? There's not a lot of outlines right now for how to do it other than put it on the blockchain. And also with that, I will also say regulation. That is also one of those things that is definitely very still in limbo. So everybody's learning as they go. And with that, that's why I always emphasize, do your own research and then do things that make sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it, right? Because you don't want to do something and that end up working backwards. You want to be thinking about how you can do things that are going to be lasting over the next 5 to 10 years. And that's why I believe personally building on the blockchain may seem, you know, long right now, but in the long run, you know, we're just adding and, you know, building our foundation for that.
So
I have two more
so it's
questions.
interesting.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You do.
So a consumer, if they wanted to buy something, you're on Maddox, and they wanted to buy something from your award-winning, internationally recognized fashion line, and then they also maybe a consumer at another store, or they go to another restaurant, and they use different cryptos. Would I have to have, and maybe they're on different blockchains, do I have to have accounts on different ones, or?
Yes, so basically
That's why she prefers Matic, because Matic is integrated through most basically any company that's accepting crypto is going to accept Matic, because Matic's partnered also with Square, and Square, they have the US dollar coin, which is acting right now. Keyword acting. It's not the official, but it's acting as if it is the US digital dollar. So it's like you can always swap back in from Matic into the USDC coin, and then you wouldn't pay any type of crazy gas fee, because that's the same blockchain. And that's why most companies are adopting, even Spatial. Like if you see them ask you for NFT, they're gonna recommend a Matic wallet. Or if you just start looking, you're going, now that you heard the word and you start going to these websites, you're now going to see accepting Matic. And that's the reason why, because it converts into US dollar a lot easier.
Gotcha. Okay, and the second question real quick. So, I mean, you were talking about traditionally the way things are done. Trademarks, copyrights. Would NFTs replace that process possibly?
Yes, great
or
question.
Is the government just going to be slow? Like they usually are, the government going to be slow about... Go ahead.
That's correct. Right now, we've been testing out something for like the last just like January.
Yeah.
We've been testing out a blockchain called ArcBlock, which is ADT, and it does that exactly. Where it's when you mint your NFT on ArcBlock, it does all the filing to make sure that it's trademarked for you, as well as it sets up a royalty system for you. And then on Art Block, it's changed, it's revolutionized the internet. Like, in a fast way to describe it, it's like, say we're here in spatial, right, or we're all kind of getting familiar with the metaverses, and we've all probably tried to build a metaverse or two now, and you build it, but you don't really have any proof or authentication that you built this space. You know, it's just you saying you built it, this, that, and the third. So with Art Block, the solution that it's created with that is now you can mint your project on Art Block, or you can even mint a website. So right now, a lot of people that are on Art Block are building different websites, just like it was the year 1998. And with these websites, they might make a decentralized YouTube, where it basically looks just like YouTube, but it's decentralized. And with that decentralized YouTube, you might say, I don't really want to have a YouTube, but I want to have a streaming platform. So you can go to a person that has that for sale and buy that exact NFT that will give you the template of a YouTube website. So now that you're seeing AI and all these things transpire, you might have been on Instagram and start seeing like so many ads for different AI applications, things like that. This is how you're starting to see so many of them, or why you're seeing so many of them, because people can go buy a template from an NFT on Art Block, which shows you like, oh, this is your basic YouTube website, and then they take it and switch YouTube to Bluetooth, and then they like, oh, this is the Bluetooth company, and you can come stream your content and so forth and so forth. So Art Block handles exactly what you want to learn in terms of that question, and that's ABT.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely I definitely would just add on to two of those questions. To answer your first one, also in a simple form, aside from Polygon and Matic, the way that your wallet will work is most people have a variety of cryptocurrencies within one wallet address, or like multiple wallet address, right? So I have different wallets for different purposes, right? Like, for example, I have P2d Raw Network and Mocasso, and now I'll make one for like this new series, right? So I have a separate wallet for each of those, and then any cryptocurrencies that I transact with would be in that wallet. So say, for example, my main wallet, Mocasso wallet, I probably got Matic in there, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP. You know, I would have a variety of cryptocurrencies in there that I've either bought or, again, transacting with. And then, again, what you'll see is as more platforms adopt this, you know, you'll have your wallet right attached to your browser, where you're logging into these platforms with your wallet address, and the transactions are going just as easy as that. And so, again, they'll start converting easily, or you'll just become, you know, familiar with getting that cryptocurrency and using it within that platform, and you'll start to see a lot of platforms develop their own cryptocurrencies because of that as well, because they know people are going to get used to that process anyways. And so I did just want to add that into that cryptocurrency wallet question.
So basically, we can almost look at it as back when the rise of credit cards, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express, some stores accepted MasterCard and Visa, but not Discover, vice versa, all that. And now everyone kind of sort of really takes everything, so it's basically going to be the same thing.
Exactly. And to top off that answer is, yes, the government's going to run slow with it, right? So you're going to have those that are trying it and building with it. You're going to have those that are building business, accepting it, and they're going to exclude those that don't until they do. And you're going to just, you know, see that, because you'll see these people that truly believe, again, in what they're building, because these are going to be those new systems, right? Like you just said, when those credit card industries first came out, and you know, that was a wave, this is that next new wave. And so by even buying, like my husband was saying, Art Block or ABT, that's a new system, right? These are the new systems that the internet is going to be running on. So even, you know, if you do start investing in cryptocurrency, that's why I say focus on those utilities and those cryptocurrencies that are powering these systems. And like I said, I ain't gonna go into too much, because you might gotta go get the Udemy course for me to get into cryptocurrency. But again, you want to focus on utility and purpose, on why and where you think that's going to be heading. And again, keep in mind, because the end goal of all of this is to be a cashless society. They already banned coins. Coins is dirty and this, that, and the third. We already see a lot of other countries already banning cash and claiming to be cashless. So the end goal in all of this is to have an entire cashless society. And NFTs are basically going to be the new cash. And that's why I say look at them as receipts. Look at them as, hey, this is how somebody's going to be able to buy something that I want them to be able to buy, and how I'll get the cryptocurrency and be an independent, distributor from there.
Now, can you give us an example of a utility or a project that's associated with a coin or a cryptocurrency?
Oh, sure. I always like to use the example of VeChain. I think VeChain is a really cool cryptocurrency that has a utility because it actually helps authenticate stuff. So it is associated with like QR codes, for example. So I know you've seen QR codes pop up on like everything, right? Like in the grocery store, everywhere. And so, and the important thing with knowing cryptocurrency is for the robots. Again, it's for the system. So if you think about a system like Walmart, who has this massive distribution, chain where they have to go through so many processes of getting the food and canning it and, shipping it, and so many different processes, that one QR code is so important to that because it tracks everything. And now because of projects that have emphasized and understood the power of that, you can scan that QR code and see where your food has come from, where it was. Some places, these super organic ones would let you even see where it was grown, and really track where your food has been before it made it to your plate. And it's because of cryptocurrencies like VeChain that you would see people using to enable something like QR codes that then empower someone like Walmart, and that would be a good example.
So a question I have is, all right, let's say you have a traditional website where you have products and people pay for it with credit cards, right? And then on the flip side, you have these the same products but minted, right? Once they're up there and once your products are minted, do you have to promote them like the same way that you would do a traditional product, or is there something about having a minted NFT where people are seeking out and buying that on its own, or do you have to do just as much marketing, promotion, all that stuff to get people to buy or want to purchase or
yes.
purchase and mint?
Honestly, you have to do just as much, if not more, because you'll lose some of your traditional market, that's just okay with buying it on a website through their usual ways, and see that you're going digital and you start being like, oh, that's just too much, I'm gonna just wait. But it also opens you up, because again, it takes you global now, right? It takes you now, and you could go, most of my collaborators, I've worked with a creator and collaborated with a fashion piece with a creator on every single continent because of NFTs. And we've made money because, that's the power that NFTs do. And the biggest thing that I like about that is, like, say for example, one of my biggest NFTs I sold was probably like over $1,000 for a digital fashion piece that I did. And the way I was doing my NFT was I would create physical tie-dyes and then create a digital pattern from there, and then other designers would use my pattern on their digital fashion. And so one creator that I did that with, she was based in Nigeria. So us minting that and, selling that, $500 here in the U.S. is one thing. $500 in Africa is another thing, And so,
wow.
Yes. And so, again, you have to think about how it starts to open you up global. Like I said, you can have this niche, kind of art that you like putting out there, and now you've got so much more of an audience that you can go and pitch it to. And
shout out to my one-eyed art lovers out there.
You feel me? You feel me? So yes, and then I do see X has the screen pulled up back here. If anybody can see that over in the back, and that is actually showing where the NFL and the NBA is using NFTs for tickets. So again, and I even just seen how Kevin Hart had tickets. Like everybody is selling these tickets as an NFT because again, people are not just okay with spending $100 on an NFT and going to the event and that's it. You know, they want more. And so if I was to look at this here, okay, I see, okay, oh, and then he's showing art block right here. Okay, yep, so this is the art block application that he was showing. But yeah, so the NBA NFTs, you know, again, people want more. This will come with oh, well, you can get discount at the shop, right? You want to go get that jersey, well, now you get 20% off if you hold the second level NFTs, because now you can also get into levels, right? Because now once you're confident and you like, I've got a project, and if we use the NBA, for example, that X just put out there, you can have, you know, 3 different levels, right? So general admission, where maybe you just get the ticket at a discount compared to going to the box office. And then also that NFT is a cool picture, right? So now you get to show it off on your social media that you got this cool official NBA, NFL NFT. Awesome. But then maybe you go up to the next level, maybe the next level platinum. If you got that NFT, then that also might come with, you know, 20% off at the gift shop and a free pretzel and a free soda, you know. So now you done got your pretzel and your soda and you having a good game and get you some merch. And now maybe you get the third level and maybe that come with VIP seats. And now you in the box office with the buffet. And, you know, now maybe you get to, you know, get to go meet the players after if you go to, you know, the exclusive NFT. It starts to even be, again, how you can organize your community when you talk about those utilities, saying, hey, if you get this utility or this NFT and you come to this event, here's all that you would be able to access because you hold this NFT. And I think that's almost a good pivot for us to even get into how that will start to affect film, because that's just really what it is. Once you understand the grounds of NFT, just like I've been saying, you can really get creative with it from there and think about how you can start impacting major industries such as film. But before we dive deep into that one, did anybody else have any last questions about just general NFT stuff or anything that we may have passed over that you wanted to clarify? If not, we're gonna keep it.
I told you, I made a question say, you thought I was lying? I'm not lying.
Hey, that,
All right, so
I'm happy for it. That's why I keep picking on you. Like, what questions you got?
Hopefully this is just enough information to kind of, you know, wet the whistle and everything, so that, you know, when we really want to deep dive, we can, you know, pay for that, you know, whatever that fee is for that course, and we can really get really into it. But we definitely appreciate Mo's generosity of information at this point right here.
Definitely,
Definitely.
So give a round of applause for Mo. Just for being generous. So you mentioned, Mo, you mentioned community. So I'm just really curious about what that really means. Like, at first I thought you meant that, like, each platform has its own type of culture around it, and when you're going into that platform, now you're kind of getting into that culture. But now it seems like what you're saying is basically you are using that as a way, when you're selling the NFTs, you're using the type of value on to the product to bring people together. Can you just talk a little bit more about, like,
Sure.
you know, what does it look like to bring culture together around purchasing NFT or a product or service?
That is a great question. So let me give you a good example. CryptoX, can you please come over here to the center stage for us to give you a great example? So if you see right now, this outfit that I have on, it's actually an NFT. And so this is it's a wearable, right? So the NFT is actually from a project called Restless. And the cool thing is I got put on because the picture on the back is from a digital fashion designer that I've worked with often and love their work, and this is their art on the back of this NFT because they're one of the founding designers that got picked to be on this project. Nonetheless, once you get this NFT, you become what they call a key holder. and there was only 1,000 NFTs or keys that you can buy. Now, once you're a key holder, you get access to all of their next mints at a low price, right? Because then we talk about that resale value. So as a key holder, like anytime they have a new NFT, I will always get the minimum that it will ever cost, right? And then the next will be general entry, so that'll be costing a little bit more. And then by the time it's to the masses, our price is usually double. So at that point, I can usually sell if I bought something, and then sell it to the general for double. And what that looks like, and what I mean by that is, so say the one that I had on was the original, right? This was when Just Restless came out. The one my husband has on, if you guys have ever heard of the project Crypto Toads, has anybody ever heard of Crypto Toads? If not, Crypto Toads is what they call a PFP project, where people literally bought the NFTs that look very similar to the ones that you see here, and they're just frogs or toads, I should say. And people got them because they used them almost as their identity, right? So they got a toad number, and they put it as their avatar, and that was them in a sense. And it was that community, right? So there's this Crypto Toad community where they have their own Discord. If you know Bored Ape Yacht Club, that's usually a larger, well-known community. They have their own metaverse land, and their own metaverse land was very secret, where a lot of people still don't have any idea what the Bored Ape Yacht Club holders do, except for those holders, because they really hold that like secrecy to heart with them. But for us here, kind of getting back to this example, as a holder, I was able to get this one that my husband is wearing, and you can see the toad on the back of his. So if you turn around X, you'll see that is his toad. And then we got this for like I said, 0.69 ETH. And then if you can see up here right now, the minimum again is 0.02. So again, we've more than like tripled, I want to say. Like say if he was to sell that, we would like have tripled that investment just from being a part of the core community. And the cool thing about this this project that we're a part of is their entire project and timeline is about collaborating with others and more projects. So they're going to keep having more wearables drop and keep bringing in other NFT communities to make ours larger and more connected with these other communities. And so that's what the NFT space looks like. It's not necessarily blockchain. Some blockchains do have different cultures, like for example, Near blockchain, I feel like is one of those that is like very, very community oriented. But that's because the Near blockchain also likes to pour into their community, right? They're all about funding and trying to give money to them and the people that are actually using their blockchain. So you'll see a lot of people that are on Near, like, oh, I love Near, everybody get on Near, and like have contests to get people on Near and giving away Near because they're incentivized for that. But most people will build a community based around their NFTs and then collaborate with other communities from there. And then I see X said that he wanted to add, so I'll let him add as well.
In addition to what you're saying, like with this example being the Restless example, you see on the screen there's now a volume of 676 Ethereum, which is well over $500,000 on its way to $1 million. And when you understand why, it's because the analytics can now be shown. So the biggest investors in these projects are investors. It's not typically a person that's just trying to luck up on something. It's somebody that's actually or have AI bots combing through analytics and what's not. So when you see Restless and you see them specify like, oh, there's 1 of 1 legendaries or 1 out of 20, and they give you their odds, but then they also have all the analytics on OpenSea that shows you from rarity to activities to quantity to currency. This is what the kids, and when I say the kids, I'm talking about all of us that have children that are now on Roblox, whatever the case may be, and how they play video games and how they decide to purchase. This is what that models in essence. So this is kind of your new way of shopping, where it's like nobody's gonna want to just remember, like maybe all of us are old enough to remember where somebody could just sell you a pair of shoes and you didn't have to look it up and see if it was real or this, that, and the third. Those days are long gone.
Been
These
gone.
kids is going to be more detailed. It's going to be more detailed to where they need to know exactly like when it was built, when it had left. Even if you look at Nike.com, Nike is big in NFTs, where it's like you'll just know every single thing about that product as well as the community. And that's the key to why everybody's getting pushed into NFTs, because they don't want to have any more community, you know what, in secrecy, where you don't know the answer, where they tell you like, oh yeah, we worth $1 million, and then 2 months later you find out they were worth $2 or something. They want everything to be on the docket, on the record, so then they can make a proper evaluation. So you want to be using these opportunities to learn, so you can also do proper evaluation. Because the funny thing is, we all grew up in this Facebook era where when you first got on Facebook, you didn't care about your analytics. You might have cared who liked and disliked or whatever back in the day, but that was as far as analytics went. You didn't think like, oh, is people looking at this post overseas? Am I an algorithm, et cetera, but you see how over time that has changed, and that's just when NFTs are here to authenticate, because now that you guys do see all the AI and everything, anything could be fabricated. So we're just using this as an authentication, and that's the biggest way you want to sell it to anybody you're talking to. You never really want to mention it as an investment, because then that triggers a term called a security. And if it gets labeled a security, then you're offering an illegal security, which then you have to deal with the SEC, which a lot of people in the crypto industry right now are having to deal with, just because the law hasn't caught up yet. But it doesn't mean that it's wrong, because you can still collect baseball cards and things like that. But the key word in that is people say they collect baseball cards. They don't say, oh, I'm about to buy this baseball card and I'm investing in it and so forth. You got to make sure your terms are clear if you want to get through litigation. That's all I have to say.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you for that right there.
Yeah.
Because not knowing that, you could have been like, oh yeah, something investment. Next thing you know.
And trust, I got a few notes here that I got must mentions to y'all, and that's definitely one of them. And the key for you to avoid for that is when you do go to your NFT, although you can tell people, or although you know, like, hey, as I grow, so will my value. That's not how you want to pitch it to someone that they're going to invest in your project for. Don't say, hey, you're going to buy this because then you're going to make double. No, you want them to believe in your vision, and that be why they're collecting and supporting. And that be that simple. And anything else from there is thank God. But I did see that Boogie said that INF actually funded his film from NFTs, which was one of the utilities that I was going to be mentioning with how NFTs can really change the game. So I would love to hear INF kind of kick off this, section for how NFTs can really change the film industry, since he's been there, done that, and did it well to get funded. So hopefully I didn't put you on the spot, INF, but welcome, and please do share. I see him moving. Sometimes we got to get our avatars all caught up. If you're speaking, I can't hear you. He's on the headset. Okay. Luckily, we got plenty of VR people in here, because usually I'd be over here like, look, y'all, I don't know nothing about them headsets. Okay. But we got the headset fam in the building today. And I see INF is still popping in. Okay, let's see. So maybe
he left.
Okay.
Did he leave?
Yeah, so maybe he's gonna be reconnecting. Like I said, I know that bug had been floating around, and usually tends to actually get into spatial, like Ty said, audio is always one of those first things to go. But let me make sure there wasn't anything I wanted to mention from that note. So again, nobody else had any other questions before we really dive into some different utilities. I'll wait until I see INF pop back in as well. So if not, then Another really great example I would say for getting into how NFTs can actually change the filming industry. So I know I've got a lot of my fellow cohort members who have their official series from this cohort. How many of you are looking to possibly sell your series or anything like that? Or even if not this series, a series, if you continue to produce series. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
think about think about everything we just talked about. Don't it seem like NFTs is about to make that real easy for you to allow someone to, if you're selling it, you again. Before we dive into that, I know INF may have to go, so we'll put that one on pause and see if INF, if your mic is working again.
Yes, can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
hello.
Okay, all right. Yeah, sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties. But yeah, the way that I kind of got into NFTs, I'm a visual artist myself besides being a filmmaker. And when I got into crypto and Web3 and just analyzing it from the investment portion, one of the other things that I realized was I need to look at this. I need to look at this new technology and look at how it applies to my skill set. So I'm a writer by trade. So I used my technical knowledge of crypto, Web3. I used that to start writing white papers for people, right? And I started to build and go to a lot of social events where I met different Web3 based companies. I leveraged my urban influence, right? Because I'm an urban author. I sold over 100,000 copies of my book independently, and I was in the process of making the film. So I used my urban influence to leverage that to get these guys to purchase NFTs from me, purchase my artwork, and I used that money to help film to help fund the film project. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be dropping that in August. It'll be premiering with Harlem Film House, and it's a really great piece.
Well,
And I'm
congratulations.
also building an NFT. I'm also building an NFT project around the film. So I have digital renders of some of the lead actors, and I also have a side story that kind of continues from where the film left off. We also have a soundtrack, right? So when we put the NFTs on the actual market, you'll get a piece of the soundtrack as well as the game that we're developing. So you have all these things to kind of look forward to when you actually purchase the NFT and join my community. And my community, as far as like when they talk about having an NFT and having a utility or a use case, one of the biggest utilities for my NFT is education. So I wrote a 33-page book called From the Block to the Blockchain that really breaks down the basics of what you need to know about NFTs, cryptocurrency, how to manage your own wallet, how to purchase different cryptos and how to use them, and more importantly, also how does technology apply to you as an individual and how you can use it in your particular field.
Ooh, you just dropped it on us. So you guys hear it. It's possible, right? And so how many NFTs would you say that you sold to help you fund it, or how did you kind of sell those to maybe help give some insight on how people could make that possible if they wanted to go sell an NFT? Did you sell like a bunch of them, or just a select few to maybe like a few?
I sold a select few,
Okay.
and what I did was I attached physical art to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I sold about 5 pieces, but every piece was really expensive. But aside from it being expensive, it was like once you bought the piece, you unlocked what that piece holds.
Right.
So, one of my pieces that I sold, once you purchase the actual digital NFT, then you got a physical piece of artwork mailed to you. And that physical piece of artwork was a one-of-a-kind original. And for your contribution, you also get to become an associate producer on the project.
Yes, I was just about to
Nice.
say that.
Wow.
Yes, because then once you have those 5 people that's into it, you know, you offer them like, hey, you really into it? You can help be into it for real, because that's also what we're moving into. When you think about that, bringing everybody, the investors, the watchers, the cast, all into it. That's the way business is about to be moving, and they call it stakeholder capitalism, where everybody that's involved is involved in getting a piece. And again, it's a community, right? It's not just top down and you get what you get and that's the end of it. It's this really inclusive system where you get to involve everyone. So I think that's a really dope way for doing it. Thank you for sharing. Did you have maybe? Okay.
Sorry, what you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask if you had any advice for anybody that may be listening and thinking about wanting to, you know, think about how they can fund their project with NFTs.
Yeah, I would say to take your time and build. When you look at the chart for when there was a boom in the 90s, there was a boom for .com, right? Yahoo, Google, AOL, all these companies were competing for market share, right? If you look at that chart, that's the exact place where blockchain, Web3, and crypto is right now. So you're at the beginning. So the fact that there's a level of uncertainty, or that maybe you feel like you might not understand everything, we didn't understand .com 30 years ago. We didn't understand that stuff. So knowing you want to be the first person, the first mover to position yourself. So that's the main thing that you're doing right now. You're building and you're positioning, and you want to have a solid foundation. So, you know, there's going to come a time when I always tell people, it's like, I heard you guys talking about all the different currency and the different blockchains. We actually have knowledge of infrastructure. They want to put a big blanket over that. Remember the days when we used to play with, I don't know how old everybody is, but do you remember DOS?
Yes.
So you remember when they had DOS? So you had DOS, and then you had just to say I want to run. You had to make this big long sentence and put in all these computer commands. Then eventually, what happened with DOS was DOS evolved, and they put GUI over it. GUI was graphic user interface. That's what we use to this day, and that's pointing the mouse at pretty pictures and making things happen. But in all actuality, you're doing the same code, that used to be on the black screen with the green letters, and it took like 20 sentences to make one command active. So know now that the new DOS is all these cryptos and all these blockchains, because these are protocols and these are networks that eventually will be working with each other seamlessly, and there will be a GUI or a graphical user interface that will be put over that. And that graphical user interface is what we see evolving into the metaverse. So please take your time and be ahead of time. Don't be late, because by the time every and no one's talking about nobody's saying that Polygon is on top of Ethereum, and Ethereum is this, and Bitcoin, and all these different networks, because they're working with each other seamlessly. By that time, it'll be too late. You want to be the people that have knowledge of the infrastructure, and you want to be able to bring back this knowledge to your community, which by the look of every avatar in here, most of us come from marginalized communities, right? So you want to bring that information and be able to bring it to our community. Because I can tell you from somebody firsthand who has dealt with different bigger corporate entities who don't come from marginalized communities, their goal is not to educate us. Their goal is to suck us dry of our money, our ideas, our IP, our intellectual property, and leave us out to dry. This is your opportunity to claim, stamp, monopolize, and monetize your IP, your intellectual property, and build a community around your intellectual property. Listen, if you got 100,000 people giving you $1 every 3 months, you don't need nobody else.
Yeah.
So build your community, build your community that is your culture, and foster that, and utilize this technology. Use this technology before it gets used on you.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Mic drop.
That's
Love
right.
it. Love.
We getting heavy. We getting heavy, y'all. We getting real heavy.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking
is
about.
it all coming together?
Fire,
Is y'all
fire.
seeing it? How it all
Alright.
comes together? Okay, can you
How y'all
guys?
feeling about the information so far? Y'all feeling good? Y'all feeling like it is coming together? You know,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so
All right.
much. Thank you.
it's definitely helping me. Definitely helping me.
Yeah, exactly.
And can you guys hear me okay right now?
Yes, we can still
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, just had to make check. So then, yeah. So let's keep going into those utilities then for the film industry and how that can change. I think what INF mentioned, he hit a lot of really great things, and I think one of the things that is really important is when you see others and they get it and you be aligned. Like he said, don't be afraid. Don't think you got to be the only one. See others in the space and collaborate, because we see how us collaborating has helped us all with learning so much for us all to get further, because again, we're going to be changing the entire culture.
Yes.
Right? And so just again, think about how we are changing all of this together. So I'm kind of going back to the other example that we were going into now that we've talked about from INF, how to get funded or how you can use NFTs to like help you fund your project. One of the other things we were talking about was actually wanting to sell your project, right? So from that, again, you can get creative, because once you start really getting into NFTs, you'll start seeing that there's standard smart contracts that you can use to mint your NFT on, or you can actually create your own smart contract that outlines everything that you'll be doing from there. And so with that, if you want to sell your series, for example, you would have two different examples, where one you could have where you just sell it to another entity, right? You've got one NFT and that represents your series, your licensing, everything that encompasses your series, so that when you sell it to the next person, they get everything like they would in a traditional contract, and that can mimic that as well, except for now it will include, hey, plus I'll get royalties if you resell it, or you can even say I'll get royalties still on like usual, right? For the replays, for airing, for everything like that, you can still include that you can have those royalties, because you get to write your own smart contract in a sense. Aside from just kind of selling it one-on-one, because that's also, you want to understand what you're giving to people. If you do say that, right? Like, what are you giving away? If you say, hey, you now have my series, what can people now use your series for? Can they remake it? Or is it just a showcase, right? And so if this is a different kind of NFT, which a lot are, where it's no licensing and you just use the NFT to showcase and promote and show that you're a collector and a part of that community, think about VHSs and DVDs right now. I'm sure anybody that has a VHS collection feels like they like the smartest person in the world and has like a treasure in their closet, right? And so well, maybe, I don't know, if you got the classics, you got the classics.
Some of the Disney movies are worth, pretty penny right now, actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, the Disney. Yeah. I have several of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for the education.
of course.
Yeah.
And so
Everybody looking at closets tonight.
okay, yeah, because again, think about it. If you can offer it like that, right, where people can collect their favorite episode or different things like that, and even just like X was talking about on ArcBlock. So say you were to build a website for like my series Journey to Mo Life, that would actually act as an app, so that different NFT holders could join sub communities on that site, and all of that is tracked. So what? Go ahead.
All right. I handle the technical part and she does the art, so pardon our whatever.
We trying to add
So
two cents
how
to
her
it.
series is gonna work is we're gonna mint it on ArcBlock, ABT, what I was speaking on earlier, correct? And when we mint it on Art Block, it's going to give us all our trademark and all our licenses, etc. That's our property, our IP, our intellectual property. Now, once you mint it on Art Block is just an underlying protocol, like INF was saying. Now, on that protocol, it will have a app built on top of it that represents Journey to Mo Life, just like any other application you get on, and that's all on the Art Block. The catch is, once it's minted and that app is active, now say like when people come to the premiere and they receive their NFT, that NFT will allow you to come onto the website, kind of like back in the day, or even when you go on a website traditionally and you got to enter your email to log in, they can link their NFT to the website. And then now let's say they wanted to just go straight to a replay section, say everybody that watches, the audience, they like to drop their comments or commentary. So that NFT will give them access to that part of the app. Without that NFT, they won't be able to see the forum or the chat. Now, when they see the chat, they can offer information, feedback, etc. And then we'll have other parts of the app that is also all accessible through NFTs. So that's what incentivizes people to then earn the NFTs, whether it's coming to the live event, buying merch, or supporting cast members. So they could be able to actually use the application. You understand? And then as all of that activity is being tracked as how many people come to our website per day, per second, etc., that's all documented on chain. So now, as any investor that wants to look up, we have all our analytics right there. It's not just scattered over Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. We're like, nah, these are real people. They got real NFTs. They come to our real site. This is what they do. And then they can see fair value of what we're worth in their eyes, and we can either accept the offer and sell it. And then when we sell it, it's a simple transaction. They just buy the NFT and they take full ownership unless you set up royalties, however you set that up. And the reason why Art Block is like the hub for these type of concepts is because now say somebody else that has a movie or TV series idea and they want to use our template, they can also buy our website app template, and instead of having to do the hard work of all the coding, which we did, they can just buy that and switch out the names and use it for their own platform. And that's the beauty of the NFT.
Nice.
Yes, and that's, again, you know, once you get more into how you can be self-sovereign, right? Once you start, you've gone through the OpenSeas, you've gone through these other platforms, and you say, okay, well, how can I, you know, like you said, build my own website, right? But still be Web3, because you don't want to build a old website, right? You want to be evolving and using these new tools. So keeping that in mind with how you can even use NFTs to unlock your website and how that can unlock your replays, and again, just offer so much utility. Right, sneak peeks and all that kind of stuff. And so to get back into some of my more straightforward examples I think anybody can apply without using special techniques such as Art Block, which is again something to do your own research about, because you do have to do your own due diligence and building and going through that process. But of course, if you guys need any help, we are here, and like he said, would be selling our own stuff as NFT templates on there. But without any of that, again, you can just sell all of this stuff as straight NFTs on any platform. And if you don't want to sell your series as, you know, copies where people can watch, or, you know, one individual one, you can also just sell memorabilia. Okay, how doesn't that what all TV shows and movies do anyways? These movie posters, I know all of us felt like our movie posters are like iconic. You can mint that movie poster and say, hey, if you want to support this series, buy that movie poster then. And it could be that simple. That could be even how you want to go for funding. Like if you go off INF example, you know, you could have something that's simple like, hey, this is my project. I've got, 100 of these for sale for $200, and or maybe say you got 1,000 of them for sale for $200, and anybody that believes in this project and wants to help make it come true, that's how you can try to raise $200,000 by selling a movie poster as an NFT beforehand to try to help you get funded, or even afterhand to help you, right? I know for our team individually, we've done it where any of the art that you see throughout the show, we're going to sell as NFTs, and we're going to do fractional royalties, where I've actually created equation based on people's input to determine the percent that they'll receive on each royalty. So we have specific royalties that the entire cast, from production, crew, everybody will get a percent on. And we have one NFT that will be for exclusive holders. And so, and then we'll have something kind of like trading cards that would just be focused on each character. And then when we talk about utilities, for example, so one of the things that I'm really focused on when it comes to projects is promotion, and I love promoting other people. And so it's like I laugh because it's really, I love promoting other people more than I love promoting myself, almost, in a sense. And so in this show, though, the way I've kind of intertwined that is I've really brought what people do in real life into the series, right? So I know INF mentioned a soundtrack. I gotta see if Kush is still in here, because I know Kush was over there like, dang, we still talking about all that stuff too. And I see Monica. Okay, cool. We got some of the crew in the house. But Kush, that is actually our lead music guy, and we are actually coming out with the soundtrack as well, and each one will be an NFT. So we're going to have an NFT soundtrack for ours, where people can buy an NFT and say, like, our character Angelo, for example, he actually makes beats, right? He makes all the beats for our songs, and in the show he also is very musically oriented and makes beats. So say, for example, his specific trading card would be like, hey, well, you've heard the intro of Journey to Mo Life, and this is a trading card for Angelo, and if you buy this NFT, then you'll also get that beat, and then you can use that beat to do whatever you want with it, and then that's how we can sell the beats. Or if we want to do, again, just selling the soundtrack, we can just sell one whole song, and people that love that song can go and support and buy it. And again, maybe it comes with the vocals, right? So then they can now take these different verses and put it on their own songs, or the different beats and put it on their own song, because now not only is that one, and giving people a reason for why they would really want to buy it, aside from just supporting, and never think just support isn't enough, because people just support all day long as well. So that is a great pitch as well, like, hey, if you want to support us, here's how. But if you want to add some backing behind it to kind of sweeten that deal and offer them some more why and what they can do with it, now think about if you got people using your verses, using your beats, and they're using it in their own regard, but now more people are becoming familiar with your work. And then when they hear it from the original, it's like, oh, dang, that's where that was from. Or now they want that beat and they got to come and get that from you. Or, usually people that buy one beat need multiple beats. So again, now this is how you're building that community that's going to keep coming and keep supporting. And again, that's why each of our characters, we've kind of tried to focus on building them their own communities that kind of, support them. Just like when you're watching your TV shows and you might find a character or two that you just love and you wish you could pay their bills for them, even though their bills not real. Our characters' bills is real. And we want to, offer people that connect with them a way to support them, because we just getting started. And I let people know, like, hey, I'm giving this budget here that I budgeted from my class, because I'm going to stick to it, and I want to give you guys a token of appreciation. But no, it don't meet no standards, and so it should not be looked at as payment. It's just a token of appreciation, and everything we doing is for free because you believe in the project. And at this point, if we want to monetize, then we have to sell these NFTs. And that's what was also reassuring to them as I'm starting out, and knowing like, hey, no, I can't invest as I want to and pay $2,500 each filming session like I would love to, but I can say we're gonna put our all into these NFTs, come up with some dope concepts. We've got a game as well, so, and we're like I said, we got so many different ways that we're going to do NFTs, that it also encourages those working with us to learn about NFTs and be involved, and also gets them really excited, especially understanding that ownership and this next level that you're now about to empower those around you with. And so memorabilia, again, NFTs, you can use that for memorabilia. We're going to be selling everything, like I said, something as simple as our movie poster or pictures within it. Or again, I gave you guys a lot of examples for how we're going to, again, use different things to even support those utilities. Some of those things also will be like being able to have insight into, like, say some of those exclusive holders, like I said, some of those NFTs that are like one of one. So if you get that one of one, now you're in the writer's room, right? Now you're being able to help decide which spot we're about to go to, what plot we're about to do, and really being able to help make some decisions. Maybe if you're one of just our regular holders, maybe you get to see like an alternate ending or different things that now again you get to go past that series. And that was one thing I was telling Boogie with as well. That was also great to hear INF, who's been a bit more successful down the line, say that he's doing, which is offering more than just that TV show, right? Because we're in the metaverse, so we want to have people have an immersive experience. And so by offering NFTs so that they can collect and be a part and go get it, and educating themselves while they're getting it and a part of it and wanting to continue to be a part of it, that's what's again going to help you solidify that community and keep people wanting to be a part of it and bring others into it. So I would say memorabilia was another big one. Aside from that, also what you can do is also offer discounts, right? I know INF mentioned physical. I told you guys we do physical. We're going to have a lot of physical merch. If you guys see Mecca over on the screen, she's kind of like the Barbie of Siri for us. So she will be like everywhere. We want to kind of have her, as our mascot. And so you'll see, notebooks and t-shirts and hats and a lot of different things with Mecca on it. And so something as simple as, hey, if you buy this Mecca NFT, then you get 20% off the physical merch. It can be something as simple as that, to say, hey, go get the NFT so that you get a discount on the physical. And I know it sounds crazy, but I swear people do it, because now you can also say it's limited, right? You offer exclusivity by saying, hey, well, we only got 10 physicals, right? So if you want one of those 10, then you got to go through this way. And that's again how you start to foster this core community that wants to support and are willing to go through those different steps. And as you grow and your demand grows, I mean, think about it. A lot of these TV shows, they get hundreds of thousands of views, right? So even if you say, hey, I got 1,000 NFTs and you got 100,000 viewers, people are going to be fighting for that. So you get to start to leverage that, and that also helps you start to increase in value when you put it on the blockchain. And so let me see. And I think that is kind of a few just of the examples that I wanted to share with NFTs, how it could change the film industry. I think funding was one of the biggest ones, and I was really happy to see INF here to kind of take over that one and share, especially since he has experience with getting funded by doing that. And you guys heard my initial question, which was, did you have a lot of NFTs or a few? Because again, there's a lot of ways to get this done. So take this information as a step in the right direction and keep learning, keep doing your own research. You heard a word, go research that word, look it up, read a few articles, watch a few videos. They say in order in this crypto world, there's a saying that you should do about 50 hours before you feel like you should move on to a next subject of like research, right? And so you want to watch 20 hours of videos, 20 hours of article reading, and kind of 10 hours of putting it all together and experiencing it and applying it. And so you kind of want to do the same, right? Don't stop with one article. Don't stop with one video. If you hear a word and you don't know what it means, dive into that rabbit hole until you do. And then you'll find the next thing that you need an understanding on. And then eventually it will all just keep continuing to come together, and you'll just be on time. Because again, that's the biggest thing I think all of us emphasize today, which is you want to be early. Right now we are early, but you won't always be. That window will close, and it's going to be closing quickly. And like INF I mentioned earlier, it's not set up for us to win, right? Because really the metaverse, I'm going to keep it frank with us, the metaverse was made for the masses. It was made for the sheep. So us here being here early, it's because we understand that this is where the masses is headed. So all we can do is be right here, putting ourselves in position so we stay on time for when they do come in here. So that education that you're gaining, the community that you're building, the collaborations that you're building, all of it adds up, And so the industry is check cutters as well, so again, just putting yourself in position, they're gonna come looking. I know we had kind of had a talk before. I know one of the people that Boogie had brought in was saying how they were using Premiere Pro, and we were like, oh, that's the stuff that we're learning, you know. And we had all been talking about. I was excited. I'm using Premiere Pro, and everybody's learning it, and I'm like, we're learning those industry standards. And if you guys see now, writers are boycotting, right? Because they ain't getting paid. So imagine if they had NFTs where it was right there in the contract and they cannot get paid, you know, or in those percents is set. And, you know, you can kind of start to leverage from there and go from there to understand how NFTs can help. But I will say that those that are in the position and don't evolve, you will see continue to be boxed out like that. Because I will say also, you know, I'm all about standing for what you believe in, but a lot of times what a lot of protesters don't realize, as automation is here and present, they want you to protest. They don't care that you're not there because they have that spot filled, and you just made it easier for them to move on to the next. And a lot of people are just going to keep doing that, you know. So you just want to make sure as you're in these positions, you're learning, because times are evolving and they're evolving fast. And so, you know, you want to be evolving with this. Otherwise, you're going to be late and left behind. And that's not where you want to be, you know. A lot of you mentioned, you remember the beginning of the internet, right? And imagine if you would have done something different then, what your current would look like, you know. And so just take that to heed and move seriously. You know, this is a golden opportunity that a lot of people ain't even realizing right in their face.
I have a question. I know. Thank you again. Now, I shared my poster with a friend. He's, you know, in the metaverse. He's building in the metaverse. He's coding. I mean, he's super, just a nerd. And so when I showed my picture, no. I was showing about this woman. I think I showed it in our cohort. The woman that created beautiful photography in Midjourney, and then she wrote a story and put it together, and she's #1 for new releases on Kindle, on Amazon Kindle. Exactly. And then, but of course, he had to put the damper that, well, those pictures aren't copyrightable. So, what do you guys feel about that? But now he said that we're in this world. However, who cares?
That's what I was
When
going to
you're
say.
looking at the book, exactly. Who cares that the photos are not, and they look like it was, the pictures look like it was taken with the most expensive lens in the world. I mean, they're beautiful. And it's entitled Let's Safari, I believe. And she's selling it for $3.99. And then now I saw today where she has it also in soft cover. So of course I got busy with my little children's story and creating. Thank you, and creating, because you know one of the key things, you know, I'll always share everything I know. I share with everybody is that you want to make money as you sleep. That's one of the prayers I've had, to make money as I sleep. So that's one of the reasons why I want to create my book and put it up on Amazon. And so I reached out to the copyright office, blah blah blah. Anyway, he's concerned about, no, he wasn't concerned. I think he just wanted to put a little damper on that good news about photos being copywritten.
Well, you know what? Tell him, you know what I want you to
created-
do? I want you to mint that picture that you get as an NFT, and tell him you don't need no copyright because it's minted on the blockchain. So now anybody that right-click slave, it don't matter, because they got to have the authentic one from the blockchain for it to mean something.
That's what I was thinking.
And the other thing I would add to that is the fact that this thing exists, right?
Yeah.
And around that idea of this thing, you're able to create other opportunities. You're able, you know, around this picture, there was a story, and there's a book, and there's a product, and there's people that's interested, and you're getting paid. And at the end of the day,
Thank you.
you're getting paid, and opportunities are being generated from this. So
Thank you.
that in combination with what Mo was saying, you know, make that joint. Now it's yours on the blockchain. But at the end of the day, so like I'll say it like this also, like think about the music industry nowadays. Before you would make an album, and artists would get lots of, well, not lots, but artists would get
Yeah.
paid would get paid off of the physical album sales, $20, whatever it was, and they get whatever percentage of that, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays with streaming, that income is gone. So
Yeah.
what artists are doing nowadays a lot is they are putting out music, but the music is a means to get attention and to get um um fans and to get build their lists and to build folks who are interested and build influence so they can pivot that into other businesses. So even if the music itself may not make any money, the opportunity that's come from that is what's making the money. So in your case, even if it's not quote unquote copyrightable today and laws can change, whatever, you're still creating opportunities around that wouldn't have existed otherwise.
Exactly.
I agree. And as Mo was talking, all I could see was, the big guy that I had on the one that, I brought to class,
Yes.
and everybody kind of flipped. All I can do is picture him because I uploaded the video where this one woman made her mid-journey picture move. She moved it over to Blender, and she gave the YouTube about how she made her mid-journey picture image move. And so it's, time consuming to do it with Blender, but hey, it's worth it. And that's what I'm picturing, as well as with Unreal Engine. I am a part of their, anybody can do it. It's their uh, beta human, meta human. And it looks so lifelike, So I want to build out his body for movement as well. And then I'm thinking all this stuff, videos, or even having him say something with the voice generator that Imani shared. So there's so much we can do. I'm telling you, my brain is just on fire. Thank you. I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you so much, Mo, for sharing this.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Brain is on
Thank
fire.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks Ty for having the idea. I was down and I was like, hey, we gotta tell everybody come because
Yes,
if
thank
I'm gonna
you,
tell you, I
thank
gotta
you,
tell
thank you
everybody
both.
and
Well, thank all three of you.
yes. Oh,
It is.
Yes.
perfect. I see
Appreciate
Monica
you for that.
Jones just dropped the link for the Eventbrite in the comments. Appreciate you there. Anybody that does not have your ticket, although I think all this left here is our people, but if you don't have your ticket, still make sure you do have it so that you get all the details. And if you guys are watching the replay right now and you don't have your ticket for the XR Film Festival, you better go to xrfilmfestival.com right now and get your ticket because tomorrow we are having the VIP event where we'll actually be playing all of our trailers. And then on Saturday is going to be the film festival where we're going to show all of our amazing projects. And I'm telling you guys, y'all thought we did something when we was talking about NFTs. Man, the stuff that we've been doing with AI and together, and it's in the metaverse. Think about when you add all these technologies together. That's what we're literally doing, guys. And we're creating stories and putting it in front of people's faces. Like, we
Yes.
are the creators that change this and create the narratives and help the public get it. That is in our hands, because right now the public's heard the metaverse, they've heard of NFTs, they've heard of AI, and it's only those things that are attractive that get them, right? like you were saying, LS,
Yeah.
your picture that was from
Yeah.
my AI caught everybody's attention, right? And we was talking about it for a while,
Yeah.
like, hold up, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's what's going to keep happening, So it's like you just want to keep being at the
You know what?
forefront,
Yeah, anyway.
And so, yeah, we
But yeah,
got
that's right.
to keep being at the forefront of those conversations.
XR
man.
Film Fest, XRFilmFestival.com, y'all. Don't be on the outside looking in. That's all I can say.
You heard
Yeah,
me?
Anybody out there listening, don't be on the outside looking in. You heard me? You know what I'm talking about? There it is.
Yeah, I'm pushing it on LinkedIn, Facebook. Oh, and I got haters. oh, this AI. I'm so sick of ignorant. You know what?
And
I
guess what?
take,
They talking about it though, right? At the end
yeah,
of the day,
but
they talking about it.
I tell them before you condemn it, check it out first and see how you can be a part of it. Since I've been on this planet, I just keep telling people we need to stop chasing after the future. Be ahead. Let the future chase after us. Be ahead.
Mm.
And I just posted where you could learn AI for free at the W3 schools. You know, those are the folks that started
Mhm.
the internet. So of course they offer it for free, but it will cost you to be certified. But who the heck needs to be certified? I just go and apply for a job.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know AI. Boom, I got the job. So
Mm.
you know, I always start from free on up. You know, so there are other. I also listed if you're part of LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys remember. Well, anyway, the Linda
Yes.
dot
Lynda.com.
com learning. Yeah, LinkedIn bought that from the
The
woman
LinkedIn note,
named
yeah.
Linda
Mm-hmm.
that started it. So, and if you have a library card, all of those courses that cost you, it's for free.
I think
Yes,
LinkedIn Learning is what it's called now, right?
Yeah.
LinkedIn
exactly.
Learning, correct?
Yes, so if
Yeah.
you have a library card, you can connect through your library card. You can take all those Linda courses for free. Yep.
That's amazing.
So,
There it is.
Yeah.
And they
I
and
have
they, they
weekly
have some
learning
they
through my
have some
employer.
great courses.
oh yeah,
I mean, if you
yeah,
like YouTube University, let me tell you,
oh
those
yeah,
courses they're they're they're, they're consistent.
Hmm.
They're high quality.
yes,
There's usually like exercise files that come along with the
Hmm.
courses. It's really well done. Each course
Very well
also.
done. Yeah. Yeah. I have that
amen,
through
yeah,
my employer. I
yes,
take advantage of it.
amen.
Yeah.
Good.
This is
Woo!
great.
This
Yes,
is
Great.
good. And
yes.
I did just
But
drop
I
the.
remember.
Oh, go ahead, Ty.
So go ahead, Mom.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I dropped the link for the replay on in the chat. So if y'all got anybody that y'all like, look, we had a good combo. You need to listen to this. If you ain't heard know
Yeah.
about NFTs and film and
yeah.
stuff, share that with them so that they can see. Especially because we touched about NFTs and then film, and again, I think this will offer a good understanding about it for people that at least, like we said, go from here. Like I said, go do your own research, okay? Because we all just learning and sharing, and nobody, they ain't even got no. You could go and major in NFTs and actually I gotta look that up. Let me not lie, but we this is all new that everybody is learning right now. So
Yes, yes.
Hey, listen, it could be Mo and X's NFT University. You know what I'm
hey,
saying? Hey, listen,
Yes,
all I'm saying,
yes.
hey, we into it.
Oh, I spread it.
Yeah, that's what we all about is education. That's definitely been our philosophy for, I want to say, we've been doing this for years now. Thanksgiving we go live and put people on the game, and this is what we really are passionate about, is educating our people, because there's not a lot of people putting out real education. There's a lot of stuff that can distract you, and it's meant to deter you. But we need people that are really going to show our people and those builders that are going to use these tools to help create opportunities that represent us and the stories and the narrative. We're creating the future, okay? What people meant on the blockchain and AI can change stuff now. It matters. So us minting these stories and putting this content so that it's here in the future matters, and we have to take that serious, to be present and be a part of that and building this.
Exactly.
And I mean, the fact that we are here, and you alluded to it already, Mo, is that these are platforms that are meant to distract us, or can distract you, definitely, if that's how you use it. YouTube, social media, metaverse, all that. You could be in here absolutely like just
Exactly.
going brain dead, right? And it's fine. Some people come here for entertainment, time to time, and it blow off steam. But the fact that we are being very intentful about using the same platform for education and to build something and to create things and to own things, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And you have to, because when you understand the bigger purpose, like someone like myself, I and this is why I know sometimes people call them, me and my business disruptors. And I know some people think that's like a good terminology, but I don't like it, because we're not disrupting those that are really planning for the future. We're just disrupting this old crap that people stuck in. But those that are building the future and writing these blueprints and putting out these tools for us to use, they're doing it because if you've seen the very first Facebook ad, it was them in a school with the headsets on and showing you how you can learn and do biology class in school and, you know, learn in school and learn in the metaverse and work in the metaverse and, you know, have your work meetings and work rooms in the metaverse. And then it evolved to all this stuff. But those creators that's actually using it, that's what they're focused on, because they're focused on the next generation. These next generation kids been doing virtual school. They've been in Roblox. They've been in the metaverse. They already know how to use Unity, Blender, and all this other stuff, you know? So thinking that you're going to become this next top person, even thinking that you want to sell it to a bunch of them. These kids already know how to do it themselves. So again, that's why utility and purpose and more so education matters, because you know, that's what you want to be, that source of, hey, I know I'm going to go around there, get some good education, get some good substance and culture and content, and we're going to be good from there. And those that, you know, is rocking with it, is rocking with it. And you don't, and that also what helps you not need everybody, right? You don't need all the funding. You don't need everybody watching. Just those that matter and that support and that are with you matter. And you can incentivize and, you know, show them that you appreciate them for being there, and just keep that focus on that, you know, compared to that our previous culture. And so, man, well, this was a great convo. I guess, did anybody have any other questions, thoughts, concerns that they want to add to the convo before I guess we wrap this one up here?
Awesome conversation.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.
Really appreciate you.
Anytime. Y'all know we all in the chat, so if y'all start trying to do stuff and you got questions, drop it in there so everybody could see. I even dropped this link in there for anybody that didn't make it. And you know, let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep learning, because y'all know we just getting started. We all put our first episodes out there, and hopefully we can continue to come together and, you know, do this kind of stuff together, because I think that's where we, you know, we have an impact. Look at how many people came up for this conversation. You know, it gets me excited for how this week about to be, because I thought it was just about to be a few of us. I'm like, okay, we got a few people around here. So y'all know it's about to be good this week. This was a little pregame. I hope y'all excited, because that's how this rest of this week about to be going up.
Definitely.
So awesome. Well, on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap up this stream. Anybody watching the replay, make sure you also drop your thoughts in the comments. How do you think NFTs can change film? What would be a utility that you would add to your NFT if you had a film or a series, or just any other questions, thoughts, or concerns? Drop it in the chat, because we want to keep it going. And this replay is also available on Twitter, so y'all know, drop it in the thread. Keep it going, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to be here building. Make sure you follow everyone. Get your tickets, because y'all see how it's going down. And that's a wrap. Peace.
Thank